Good morning. My name is Rob Richardson, and I'm on the board at Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. On behalf of the board and the program council, it's my honor to welcome you here this morning. As we enter this space today, know that you are surrounded by the love of the community where all are welcome. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, and wherever you are in your journey, you are welcome here. If this is your first time here or your 124th time, you're here in the building or watching online, you are welcome. All right, so we'll say hi to the folks online. There's a camera back here. Hello, greetings, welcome. If you'd like more information about the church, please fill out the visitor card in the pocket in front of you or on the website, tvuuc.org, and select Stay in Touch. If you're interested in religious exploration for classes for your children or adult religious education for yourself, here at TVUUC, please visit the RE hallway, straight back out these doors past the kitchen. There's also a table on your route that you can find some friendly faces to find more about that. If you need any accessibility aids during the service, such as large print hymnal, hearing device, or noise canceling headphones, those can be found at the cart near the welcome table when you first enter in the lobby. Our ushers will be glad to show you the way or collect one for you if needed. Our ushers are also able to help provide guidance around the building. If you have questions, if you need to find the restroom or other areas of the building, just seek out the ushers. I'm happy to help as well. If you're visiting us with small children, we invite you to sit up front and where it's easier for your little ones to see what's going on and don't feel like you need to keep them still. We're all are welcome here, and we understand that silence isn't ever completely silent. You should also feel free to change seats at any time during the service if you need to move or stretch your legs. We have a few announcements this morning. First one, join the Right Relations team today after the service for the fourth Sunday listening circles. Through mindful dialogue and deep listening, we will explore perspectives about the shooting that took place on July 27th in 2008 and reflect on how our shared experiences relate to the right relations and beloved community. First Sunday lunch will be next week and hosted by the worship committee. It's also the final day for the annual school supply drive supporting Lonsdale Elementary and the TVUUC youth. A complete list is on the community board, and a QR code is on the collection box in the lobby. Family Promise returns to TVUUC this evening. There are still a few spots available to volunteer as a dessert provider or a dinner host. Please contact Robert Hyde if you're able to help out. It's not too late to share your skills and support TVUUC by joining the board committee or a board committee or standing team. You can scan the QR code at the welcome table to sign up for that. Please join us on August 9th for the multi-congregational picnic at The Cove in Concord Park. It will be an afternoon of fun, food, and building connections. For more information on these announcements and more, please refer to the newsletter, the calendar, and other forms of communication from TVUUC. Also, I want to say with these announcements that there's a questions meeting at the end of this service for those who want to know about Unitarian Universalism or potential new members. It's facilitated by our new member and outreach coordinator, Mark Mahandro. And Mark, are you in here? Can you stand up so people, he must be out doing at the table. But anyway, yeah, you'll be able to find him out there in the lobby. All right. This week we have a Share the Plate offering, or a designated offering, and it's going to benefit TVUUC's Equity and Justice Fund, which supports efforts to advance equity, inclusion, and social justice in our congregation and the wider community. Ways to give are listed in the order of service, including the QR code that will take you directly to the giving page. If you're online watching, you can click the Give button on your screen. All right. With that, we will start this service.
Good morning. My name is Seema Singh, and I am a member of the beloved community, which is bringing you this service today. I would like to introduce Stephanie. Stephanie Cook recently retired in June as the Americans with Disability Act, ADA, coordinator for the city of Knoxville, where she's worked since 1998. Some of the responsibilities included receiving and investigating complaints, managing reasonable accommodations, requests for constituents and employees, providing ADA training specific to the needs of each city department, as well as ensuring that city facilities, programs, and policies were accessible and inclusive of people with disabilities and seniors. Ms. Cook is deeply connected to the Disability Committee. She has served on several boards and advisory councils, including a board chair of the Mayor's Council on Disability Issues, CODI. I met Stephanie when she was with CODI and organized a candidate forum for city council members. I liked her right away. She is a fierce advocate and sassy as hell. And generous. She's donating her honorarium today back to the TVUUC's children's program. She was instrumental in Knoxville being awarded an age-friendly city designation by the World Health Organization and AARP. She led the city's efforts to increase the livability index for people with disabilities and seniors. In the fall of 2021, after a fire at a senior disabled high-rise housing complex that left many people who use mobility devices stranded without them, Ms. Cook pulled together a team, Stephanie pulled together a team to see how the community could better prepare for and respond to large emergency evacuation. Today, this group is called SAFE, Securing Accessibility for Emergencies. It's part of the overall Knox County Emergency Management and Response System. Becoming disabled as a teenager, prior to the passage of the landmark civil rights law known as ADA, Ms. Cook had personally experienced exclusion and discrimination solely because she has a disability. She is dedicated to ensuring that people with disabilities know their rights and encouraging them to use their voices for the greater good.
Thank you, Seema. I appreciate those kind words, and I look forward to being with you today, just to talk about the disability experience and share with you some of the things that I have seen or experienced in 39 years of being a person with a disability. And I see lots of friendly faces. Some of you I know from my work at the city. Some of you are still working there. Some of you have retired like me. And I just appreciate your having me here today. I think we're going to move to you. Okay, perfect.
Our prelude piece is a little unusual. You'll notice it says it's by Beethoven, allegedly. When this piece was first shared with me, I thought it might be a great option for this service because it would highlight a composer who struggled with a disability, and like Beethoven. But in doing some research on this piece, I found out that although it has long been attributed to Beethoven because it was published as his last composition, most scholars agree now that it probably isn't Beethoven, and that someone was probably taking advantage of his popularity and his story. So I decided to keep this piece as a meditation on being aware, paying attention to attribution for composers and other artistic creators. And I hope you can enjoy the music while also taking a message from it.
And please stand in body and spirit as you are able for our hymn number 1014 out of the Teal hymnal.
And please remember that the new lyrics that the composer has requested are answering the call of love instead of standing on the side of love. Answering the call of love.
Today's responsive reading is an insert in your order of service. I will read, and then you will respond with the italicized lines. Spirit of love, we pray for all your people. Spirit, in your mercy, help us touch each other. Spirit, in your mercy, help us work together. Spirit, in your mercy, help us respond to each other. Spirit, in your mercy, help us grow in your wisdom. Spirit, in your mercy, help us and heal us.
Good morning. I'm Mebby Jackson, and I'm a member of the spiritual care team here at church. We are a group of heart-centered, deep listeners who care for the congregational needs. And we welcome anyone who, at any time, who has a need that they want to share or know of someone who is in need of our services. You can find our number in the order of service or on the website. And we also have a table on the second Sunday of each month for a listening booth. So if you ever need to have a caring ear to hear, you just come on the second Tuesday. So we have a little bit of woe for Kate Benson. She's going to be having a shoulder surgery this Thursday, July 30th. She has recently moved to Maine to be closer to her family. So we wish her well from down here, her second home. And Crystal Bradshaw has shared some great joys with me. First off, her 14-year-old niece, Avery, had her heart ablation this past week and is recovering wonderfully. She is moving around and enjoying life and very happy to have this procedure behind her. Yes. Crystal will be celebrating her birthday on Friday, as her partner Bonnie's Frame's birthday was yesterday, and they will celebrate this weekend. So those are our joys and concerns for this day, but we always know that there are some that we keep within our hearts, those spoken and unspoken. We always worry and care for those who choose not to come to us. So please join us in singing our song to bring light to their lives.
Good morning. I'm Dylan Billman Brown, and I will be reading Celebrating Disability, Community, and Culture by Gretchen. This Disability Pride Month, we remember Patty Byrne, Sins Invalids co-founder, executive and artistic director, and one of the founders of the disability justice movement. Besides Disability Pride, this is also the month we recognize the 36th anniversary of the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act. This Civil Rights Act for disabled people was signed into law by President George H.W. Bush on July 26, 1990. A celebratory gesture is the display of the Disability Pride flag that has an inclusive design of different colors with meanings. Green is for sensory disabilities. Blue represents emotional and psychiatric disabilities. Gold is for neurodiversity. Red represents physical disabilities. And finally, white stands for non-visible and undiagnosed disabilities. While churches are still one of the only entities not covered by the ADA, that means that we must do the work and meet and hopefully exceed these standards. Our faith puts love at the center of everything we do, and that means practicing inclusion and accessibility to love our congregants and community guests into our spaces. Let us meet the disabled friends who enter our congregations with a welcome that's radical and a love that's courageous, not just this month, but all the months after as well. Thank you.
friend. If you need somebody, just call on me. Just lean on me. We can work it out. You got to lean on me.
This is a prayer titled, Blessed Just by Being. Dear humans, the ones with senses that witness and hearts that break, the ones with brokenness and bruises, seen and unseen, know you are blessed just by being. Dear humans who struggle through changing tides and crashing waves, the ones who dig deep and hold on tight, the ones who run up the beach to the safety of the dunes, know that you are precious and that you have a choice. You who let joy kindle your souls even when outside forces would wish you to blow out the flame, know you are lovely and wonderful. You who study, research, and innovate, who question, test, and experiment, know you are needed and valued in your curiosity. Dear humans, the ones that commune with the trees and the animals, who admire the caterpillar on the milkweed and marvel at the spider in her web, know you are beautiful in your connectedness. You who struggle, who love, who yearn for more and better and more loving, you who suffer, who resist, who play and delight in the important things. Keep your precious ways which bring more loving into this world. Cherish your innovations and your choices. And dear humans, know that you are blessed just by being. And we will enter into a moment of silent meditation with the directions from the Radiant Sutras, Sutra number 106. Set your mind free to wander anywhere at once. Think any thought. Ride any wave, surge in any direction. The instant a thought springs up, abandon it and move on. Don't let the mind rest anywhere. In this way, we gain entry to the bliss of the silent depths beneath the surf. Thank you.
This next piece of music has a call and response element to it that you'll need to pay attention to. The first part is you will say, I won't, as in I will not, I won't. And it sounds like this. I won't, I won't. Try that. I won't, I won't. And the music you'll hear leading up to that sounds like da, da, da. after that is a short phrase that says, "That's how I'll show my love for you." Please repeat that with me. That's how I'll show my love for you. And it's sung, "That's how I'll show my love for you." Let's try it all together. That's how I'll show my love for you. Great. And then there's another spot where you get to sing "I Want" twice. So that happens. Where does that happen? It goes like this. But I want, I want, I want, I want. That's how I'll show my love for you. And in the last verse, it'll change to "I will, I will."
And match your stride, that's how I'll show my love for you. If you don't talk as most people do, some people talk and laugh at you, but I won't, I'll talk with you and giggle too, that's how I'll show my love for you. If you don't look like some people do, some people just look down on you, but I won't, I'll see you are made perfectly, that's how I'll show my love for you. If you're not as young as some people think you're just no fun, but I won't, I'll listen to and learn from you, that's how I'll show my love for you. If you were born far, far away, some people think you should not stay, but I won't, I'll know you bring such interesting things, that's how I'll show my love for you. If you don't pray as some people pray, some people pray you'll go away, but I won't, we're all I see, a family, that's how I'll show my love for you. If you can't buy expensive stuff, some people think you're not good enough, but I won't, I'll look inside where treasures hide, that's how I'll show my love for you. If you don't love as some people do, some people think your love's not true, but I won't, I'll watch you share, I'll see you care, that's how I'll show my love for you. If you don't think as some people do, some people have no use for you, but I will, our thoughts will play and stay That's how I'll show my love for you. Yes, I will, I will, I will, I will. I'll walk with you and talk with you. That's how I'll show my love for you.
And I love the words of that song, too. Well, today's a big day. 36 years ago, late morning, beautiful sunny day, President George H.W. Bush signed in the Americans with Disabilities Act, federal civil rights law. There were plenty of laws on the books prior to the ADA, but none quite like the ADA. It is unique in and of itself because it is the one civil rights law that gives individuals impacted by it the opportunity to assert their rights, ask questions, file a complaint, and make a difference that is positive in their community for all people with disabilities. And it is so cool to see here. I have my prior to the city life was with a nonprofit in Easter Seals, and I see a dear friend here in the congregation today. Hi, Patricia. Nothing about us without us. Speak up. Okay. Okay. David, I don't normally need these things, but I will definitely speak up. Is that better? All right. You tell me if I get low, because I can go louder. My husband says you can go very much louder. Nothing about us without us is a mantra of the disability community. Basically, the phrase embodies the concept that if we are going to have a policy, a program, a facility, anything that is created for anybody in the community, it should also be created to be inclusive and accessible and welcoming to folks that happen to have a disability. In fact, when the President Bush signed that law on July 26, he ultimately signed a brand new Emancipation Proclamation for millions of Americans with disabilities. There were 41 or 2 million at the time, and we have grown exponentially in those 36 years. He said that the ADA would be moving us in a direction of dismantling the shameful wall of exclusion that had long barred Americans with disabilities from full participation in society. That was when the disability community felt like it must have felt to those in Germany when President Ronald Reagan told Gorbachev to tear down that wall. That's how we felt. Today is that 36th anniversary, and that is something to celebrate, not just on July 26th, but every day. July is designated as Pride Month, Disability Pride Month, and it is important to understand that people with disabilities are here in every aspect of our lives. We are here, we have been here, and we are growing. We see so much this month about awareness and making sure we understand that disability is part of the natural human experience. But we don't always see these things in August, September, November, December, or any other month, right? I don't know why that is, because we need access and we need inclusion every day. The ADA has been in place for 36 years, and each of us as advocates have worked to remove some of the barriers that are up there. As we think of people with disabilities and their impact on our population and the fact that they are amongst us everywhere, we are recognizing the value and the potential of every single human being, and that's what the Disability Pride is about, the value and potential of every single human being. This is a segment of the population that you can join at any moment. Illness, injury, sickness, disease, recovering from surgery. Something so simple can turn our lives in a different direction in the span that it takes to inhale a breath. And that's why I say we're all only temporarily able-bodied. The majority of us with disabilities were not born with those disabilities. 2024 statistics say that people with disabilities make up 30% of the US population, and 18% of that population is age 65 or older. Doesn't mean that just because we turn a certain age, we're going to have a disability. But it does mean after decades and decades of walking on our feet, bending with our knees, lifting with our arms, opening things with our hands, these abilities do begin to lessen. We get a little weaker. So as we get a little bit older, we see some of these limitations coming along, and it's something that will absolutely impact all of us, or at least somebody that we know and love at some point. Since about 2003, Americans have been turning the age of 65 at a rate of 10,000 people per day. And that trend continues and is expected to continue until 2030. So when we combine individuals with disabilities and seniors, all who benefit from an accessible, built environment and a welcoming and inclusive community space, we're talking about half of our population today. So the Americans with Disabilities Act is federal civil rights law, and it was intended to prohibit discrimination against individuals with disabilities in every area of public life. Employment, education, transportation, communications, access to public and private facilities, which include courthouses, governmental buildings, libraries, police and fire stations, parks, playgrounds, community centers, senior centers, greenways, sidewalks, and buses. Anything that is owned, managed, or funded with government dollars, i.e. the taxpayer. Private facilities include pharmacies, grocery stores, big box chains, home improvement stores, restaurants, movie theaters, concert venues, doctor's offices, hair salons, daycare centers, doggy daycare centers, sports stadiums and fields. Anything that is owned or managed by a person or a company that impacts commerce is what we refer to as that private sector that is also required to provide access under the ADA. There are two exceptions. One is a place of worship. Ironic, isn't it? One is a place of worship and a members-only entity, such as an Elks Lodge or the Masonic Temple. Now I have to turn on my ADA coordinator teacher hat for just a minute, and we're going to go school for a second. The ADA has 5 titles or chapters. The first one is employment, and that covers absolutely everything from interviewing, hiring, requesting an accommodation, to being employed, getting promotions, demotions, discipline, everything. 2 is state and local government and public transportation. 3 is referred to as public accommodations, which is anything really that affects commerce that is privately owned and operated. And Title IV is effective communication. So from the documents that we read, to the websites that we go to the folks that stand before us or sit before us and talk to us, effective communication is what it means when no matter what our limitation may be, whether it's with vision or hearing or learning, we are getting the same information that individuals that don't have a learning or a communication barrier are able to get. And Title V is what's referred to as the miscellaneous title, but I call that the kicker of the law. The reason is that particular right guarantees individuals with disabilities and their people who advocate on their behalf the opportunity to assert one's rights, ask a question, file a complaint, file a lawsuit if you had to, that sort of thing, to right a wrong and to remove a barrier or to stop a discriminatory activity without fear of intimidation, coercion, or retaliation. Isn't it a shame that we have to have a law that states that specifically in this country? But the ADA provides this protection to both individuals with disabilities and their allies. So know that. Advocacy matters. Without people advocating for the ADA, it would have never been signed into law. There are types of advocacy that all of us can participate in. Individual advocacy. That's when we raise our hand and we ask a question and we speak about our own need. Community or group advocacy. That's when we advocate together for a change for that group or for that community. Examples include lots of nonprofit agencies that we're aware of, their boards and their communities, their constituents, their customers. They advocate by writing to their state and local legislators about changes that they would love to be seen made in our laws. And then there are systemic advocacy, where we advocate for a change to a system similar to the ADA and how it was signed into law in 1990. That was such a huge systemic change for individuals in our country, and it continues to be a powerful and meaningful law that gives us all more access, whether we realize we needed it or don't have it or not. So all of us can be an advocate, right? Yes, yes. So what is disability pride all about? It's about celebrating the identity, the culture, and the contributions of people with disabilities while still challenging stigma and promoting inclusion. You know, disability pride is about embracing disability as a natural and valuable part of a human experience, because we're all humans and we all have something to contribute, and disability is probably going to come along at some point. We don't view people as a source of shame or those that should be set aside and put in an institution anymore, thankfully. Disability pride also highlights the social, cultural, and legal achievements of those who happen to have a disability and those who've advocated for them. And it's historic and it's important. While this began in 1990 here, there has always been a sense of pride and connectivity and belonging amongst individuals with disabilities. In fact, amongst other cultures too. One of the best examples that I can give you is there was a law that was signed. It's called the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. Section 504 of that law indicated that individuals with disabilities should be able to have the services and the access to anything that was provided by the government. What does government provide? Education, healthcare, housing, transportation, all the things, right? And so that law was intended to give individuals with disabilities that level playing field that we've always needed and wanted. And it was signed into law, but unlike the ADA, it did not have Title V. It didn't have that kicker that said, this is how you assert those rights and achieve equal access and inclusion. That had to wait on the ADA. But before then, laws were enacted and they sat collecting dust on books and shelves in legislators' offices. So in about 1975, there was a lady by the name of Judy Heumann, and she decided that enough was enough. She gathered some folks, some friends of hers, and they camped out at the Secretary of what was a Health and Human Services at the time office, and they demanded that not only, since that law had been signed into 2 years previous, they demanded it actually get the dust blown off of it. They demanded that it actually be put into action. And so they ended up doing a sit-in, so to speak. Judy Heumann was born with polio, used a wheelchair. So they did a sit-in that lasted almost 3 weeks, I think. There were members of every community that came out and supported these individuals. The feds did everything they can, from locking the doors to not letting people in and out, not letting people to come in and assist the individuals with disabilities that were inside, not letting the individuals with disabilities outside to get maybe their assistance or their medication or even take a shower, you know? Imagine there weren't accessible bathrooms in these buildings back then. Some of them still don't have them. But that's another story for another day. These folks showed up and word got around. And who was one of the biggest groups that came out in support of the disability community? The Black Panthers. So there is a huge common connectivity amongst all of us. It may be a difference, but it's often been the same struggle. So that's why we're all definitely in this together. Everywhere, there are thousands and thousands of people with disabilities. One of the greatest experiences I ever had was in 2000. It was the 10th anniversary of the signing of the ADA into federal law, and I was on the board of our local independent living center, which is called the Disability Resource Center. And we had an opportunity to go and witness the ceremonial re-signing of the ADA, and we did. And I remember being out there, I believe it was at the, I've drawn a blank. Our president, it wasn't Roosevelt, the one that actually used the wheelchair, help me. FDR, it was Roosevelt. We were at the memorial there, monument there. And tons of people were there, beautiful sunny day. And I see all of these individuals with different kinds of disabilities and without disabilities, because most of them aren't evident. And I just remember the camaraderie of that experience, the feeling of all means all. We are we, and we all matter. There was so much swag. Everybody there had something to sell. From t-shirts, I came home with one that said same struggle, different difference. And another thing that I came home with that was displayed in my city office for 26 years was a simple brochure that was put out in the Smithsonian Museum. And it said, "A community that excludes even one is no community at all." For us to think that disability is something that affects other people, that's not true. We've already talked about that. We can look around ourselves in any setting, at work, at church, at school, at our doctor's office, in the salon. We see folks and we understand that they have disabilities. So what is something that each of us can do post-ADA to help those that happen to have a disability and those of us who will one day have a disability? However it is that you participate in society, just consider for a moment how your experience might change if you were temporarily or permanently changed by a disabling condition. If you see a barrier for people with disabilities, you can mention it. You can mention it to the manager of that restaurant or that business. You can let the delivery driver know who's parked right in the center of the crosswalk or blocking the curb ramp at the intersection. You know, it might be a really good idea if you could just move a little bit so that everybody has access. You can call the city, you can call the county, you can call the state if there is something that you see that doesn't look good, doesn't look like it's going to be accessible, doesn't seem like it feels very inclusive or welcoming of that majority of us. If you see somebody with a disability who seems like they're struggling a little bit, maybe they need a little assistance, go ahead and offer that. It's a sweet and very kind thing to do. But don't be offended if they say, "I got it." You know, for some people, the struggle is okay. It's okay, and it's empowering to them to do it for themselves, whatever that it may be. The absolute best thing about our community and our country, I believe, is the myriad of humans that inhabit it. We should call people with disabilities by their name, not a diagnosis. He's not the Downs kid. You know, she's not the crazy lady. She's the person that uses a wheelchair. He's a person that lives with mental illness. He's a person that can't see. Over the years, we have seen so many good things happen because of those advocates, because of those people that weren't going to just sit quietly and let things happen or let someone else speak on their behalf. We've all done that, right? We have all done that. It is important, but I don't know that I should say something. Say something. If you see something, say something. Always. Some of the things that are going on in our communities, in our world, we all see them, we all know. They're not always so positive. Sometimes they're actually very negative, very hurtful. At the federal level, there have been some drastic changes in policy and in funding for supports that actually encourage and help people with disabilities live their lives. They have changed our education system to the point where kiddos with disabilities may or may not get accommodations that they need down the road. Kiddos with disabilities may or may not get the supports that they've come to depend upon by the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act that came along, again, long before the ADA. There are forces out there that want to put people with disabilities back in those institutions, get them off the streets. You know, our country had what's called ugly laws in America. And the very last one that came off of the government books was in 1973 in the city of Chicago. Basically, an ugly law said anybody who sees anybody else in community and doesn't think they fit, doesn't think they're pretty, doesn't think they have something to contribute, they could be labeled as an ugly. And they would be remitted to the house. Don't come out. You're not welcome. Similar to, we've all heard the H word, right? The H word. Sometimes we refer to that as parking or a bathroom stall, something like that. Actually, handicap is a mixture of several words. It harkens back to the days in England when people were struggling in Europe. I mean, people were struggling, everybody needed something, and not everybody could work. And so they made an exception for those people to go out, use their cap or their hat, hold it out, and seek charity. They were allowed because they were disabled. Everybody else had to work, right? But if you couldn't work, you were allowed to hold your hat out and accept charity from strangers. That's the meaning. That's where the form of the word handicap came from. So I don't use that word. People with disabilities are not handicapped. They have lived life. They've gone to school. They've got an education. They're doing their jobs. They're doing life just like the rest of us. The parking space that I need is accessible. The bathroom stall that I use is accessible. You see what I mean? And our words matter. Our words matter. So if you can start using more empowering words, that would be awesome. But again, our federal government has been pushing for more and more cuts to funding that provide home and community-based services for individuals with disabilities. My time is up. We won't be much longer. And even our state has decided to not accept all of the available federal funds to it because there are some strings attached. You know what those strings are? You and me. You and me and the humans that depend on these services, right? Our federal government has removed guidance materials from their websites that were once there to let us know what rights we had, what responsibilities we have as advocates, to let us know how we could make a change by requesting our needs being met. That's all gone away. If you know where it is, you can dig it up on other websites, but it's usually not those sponsored by our government. Our local government just shuttered the Disability Services Office that was open for 10 years, that I took 3 decades to build. But that does not mean that the needs of the individuals with disabilities in Knoxville have been met, or that the community doesn't need better access and more inclusion. But I don't have to be an employee anywhere to continue to move a needle, to talk to people about what their needs are, to let folks know what their rights are and how they can go about advocating for them. In fact, just this past week, I just put out a "Y'all want to talk about disability? Meet me at Kearns Food Hall." 18 people showed up. So many people have reached out. Steph, I was out of town. I had to work. Couldn't make it this time, had a prior commitment. When are we going to do it again? We're going to do it again in a month. We're going to do it again in the following month. And you may see us on the TV. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Because where we have a need, we're going to meet, we're going to discuss how to meet that need. And then we can ask our questions, whether it's of our leaders that are in political office. We can make our requests. We can say, look, these are some of the things that we need that you can do, you were doing, you can do again. And I hope you'll hold out good positive energy. Send up those good vibes, that good juju, say your prayers, that this works, because we're not going to sit silent and we're not going to go away, ever. Today, I believe that we live in the greatest country in the world, but we cannot take any opportunity that we have for granted. We've got to be vigilant and on watch for the changes that happen behind closed doors and in small group meetings and that never meet the media. We can make a difference just by taking a picture when we see something that's not good, or maybe it looks like it's a little difficult, maybe not accessible, and we can relate that back to the business or the government. Knoxville has a 311 program. You can download the My Knoxville app on it, and you can take a picture of anything out there. If there's a manhole cover that's not covered and your car just went into it, and that's a problem with your vehicle now, let them know. If there's a missing curb ramp, let them know. There's a section of sidewalk that is crumbled and missing and broken, or the tree roots have popped through it, let them know. I let them know. In fact, I copy 311, and the director of the department, I think, is responsible for making the change, because that's what we're here for. That's what we're all here for. The work of an advocate is never done. And that's why it's important to have an idea about this disability community and the issues that are not just unique to us, but that could impact you too, and somebody that you love. These things don't go away at the end of July. These things are always. Advocacy is our work 24/7, 365. That's what disability pride means to me anyway. It's not a job or a passion. It's a way of life. If you ever are bitten by the advocacy bug, just remember there's no right or wrong way to do it. You're showing up. You're supporting individuals. You're making a phone call. You're sending an email. You're supporting somebody sitting in a group just to talk about their needs by being there, just by saying, I hear you. And you could be making a difference not just for one person or the group, but for all of us. I became an advocate when I became a person with a disability at the age of 14 and saw the world in a whole new way. Inaccessible, exclusive, nobody at the table representing me or the disability voice. I am, and I will always be, as Seema said, a fierce advocate for people with disabilities. And you can also be an advocate for people with disabilities. When you leave here today, smile at your neighbor and go out those doors with an attitude of, how can I make a difference? You want to know how you can make a difference? I'm going to share with you some words of John Wesley, who said, do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. Let's all be part of that community that includes us all, that respects us all, appreciates us all, whoever we are, whatever we do, however we contribute, as long as ever we can. Thank you.
Closing words today are from Sherry Woodbury. Let us continue to grow as citizens of our communities, our nation, and our world. Let us work to build the common good for ourselves and for the generations to come. May it be so. Please join us after the service for coffee and conversation with our speaker and all of us.
Feel through